deal with it.
That is what happens.
So we'll gone into Champions Select now. Cardiff have the first ban here, and they ban away that Thresh, that really strong support. So they may well run that Leona again. Thresh does a really good job of countering Leona, and maybe they're anticipating Imperial trying to counter the bot lane comp again. Aerie also coming down here, which was discussed before. Really good Roma and kind of almost assassin-y type AP middle. Zed following this, as well as Oriana. So Oriana last game actually managed to change that game around by the Dragon Pit with a huge command shockwave, which caught about 4 of them and just blew up the purple team, and in fact put the purple team probably behind at that stage. So purple team, sorry, Imperial behind. So it's actually strange that the ban on Oriana has hang on, I'm getting teams sorted up. It's not surprising considering Imperial did so well with her last game.
Yeah, that's not much of a shock. Also, just for reference, I do have colorblind mode on, so it is red team.
Red team. Well, that could be confusing.
I figured as I'm casting for a wide audience, I should generally make that default in spectator mode. So yeah, they are seeing red, although I imagine most people know what's going on.
I'll have to get used to that. I don't use it myself, not being colorblind. There are lots of people say, "Why are you using that? The colors are prettier anyway." So
I think it's a bit easier to see, and just in case you get someone who wants to watch who is colorblind.
Oh yeah, definitely. I managed to offend someone last time by jokingly suggesting that we don't accept colorblind people here at the Newell, so I won't make that same mistake again. So a Zac pick. The Zac ban didn't actually come out after us discussing how destructive he is, but another Maokai pick. So he's actually becoming pretty popular right now.
At least in these 4 games, he's got a 50% pick rate. I'm not sure he's worth it yet. I mean, they didn't take the game with him last time, and he didn't have a really big effect.
Yep, and maybe we might have a few pros watching this and just seeing how amazing Maokai is. You can only hope, can't you?
Well, I don't think we need to tell them. I mean, Maokai has always been the odd one's favorite jungler.
Yep, I mean, he loves those saplings. There's some great posters of the odd ones with his saplings. I don't know whether you've seen it. It's amazing, but I hope he comes back in, because he's such a fun champion to see ganking, just because of how far he can be thrown as he engages with the entangling roots, especially against Ezreals and flashes and all sorts of things. And I love to see Maokai's fail. It's just really entertaining, quite honestly.
Indeed, some really unique picks coming down for Imperial. Once again, it looks like maybe they're going for that poke comp, the poke and disengage comp, although I'm not sure Maokai, I mean, he has poke, but the Janna ult on top of the Maokai ult just doesn't really work, and it doesn't synergize with the Lux pick all that much either, or the Varus pick.
Yeah, and I think that was a targeted pick against the Leona. Leona was so strong last game, and they banned out the Thresh, which is a really good counter to the Leona. So, Janna's very strong.
She is considered to be a hard counter to Leona. If you're good with that Tailwind, not Tailwind, that her Q, you can easily stop Leona in her tracks.
Yeah, definitely. And so that's clearly what's come out there. Varus actually synergizes really well with Janna, with obviously that extra AD damage coming from the shield. So they might stand a much better chance of taking control on this bot lane. But this is obviously a favoured lane, Leona and Graves by Cardiff. Lee Sin being picked up here. as is Evelyn. So whether that's Lee Sin top lane, Evelyn mid, Zac jungle, or it could be any one of those. You could see a Lee Sin mid with a Zac top and an Evelyn jungle, or a Lee Sin mid with a Evelyn jungle and a Zac top. So I don't know. There's so much versatility there, and it's very hard for them to pick. So they've gone. Well, they hovered over the Rumble, which obviously we've seen a few times already, but instead they're now hovering over a Necton. So we'll see what gets locked in here.
Could always be a Leona jungle. I mean, that is a thing. It's not a very good thing, but
and support
it is near and dear to my heart. I'll say that.
I mean, I've seen several people in solo queue playing Lee Sin support because they quite frankly can't be asked to play a real support. But it is Lee Sin jungle, Evelyn mid, and Zac top. So they're looking to counter jungle, I'm guessing, onto this Maokai. Lee Sin's early damage and early invade is great, especially coupled with Evelyn, who's really good at roaming and just getting around and being a bit of a nuisance in places.
Yeah, sorry, I was just talking with someone in the chat.
No problem at all. You've got to keep on top of our expansive fan base.
Indeed. Well, they were saying something about my Leona jungle, and so.
Yeah, let's not bring hatreds into this. Let's not start feuds in the chat.
And we are into the delay here. As you said, the invade is, I think it's definitely a possibility here. Maokai is extremely blue dependent. So taking that away from him would definitely slow him down.
But you also see this, I love to do it several times, but this Lee Sin, where he starts the red buff, legs it straight over to the enemy red buff, at which point they're often on about half HP having started it, and then actually managing to either smite it off them and then kick their face in, basically, or alternatively they take it and then he kicks their face in anyway. So we could see that from in this startup, rather than going for that straight invade, actually letting your Lee Sin.
Particularly in solo queue, dealing with a jungler who starts his blue buff and then immediately comes and invades, that is a thing. And being able to deal with that has become pretty standard. And at least in solo queue, that's fallen out of favor. In a competitive environment where your team's going to be coming with you and it's not going to be a solo invade as much, I'm not sure that's as good, because the counter to a red invade after taking your blue buff is to call your mid laner or top laner to come help you, which doesn't work in solo queue, but this ain't solo queue, so I'm not sure that's as wise of a choice, trying to get a sort of a cheeky red steal in there.
Yeah, that's very true. But I mean, the blue team, or is it still blue in colorblind mode?
Yeah, it's blue and red in colorblind mode.
Blue and red. Okay, that's fine. I can still say blue team. It's not a problem here. With the blue team, obviously you've got very maneuverable champions in terms of Evelyn can sneak away fairly easily. Zac with the elastic slingshot, like their collapse potential is huge, and if they so wish, they could really close down this Maokai hard, because obviously him on his own is it's very hard to deal with invades of any kind.
And that is one of the weaknesses of Maokai, and one of the reasons he sort of fell off. I mean, he was quite popular and strong in Season 2, but then sort of at the end of Season 2, it was Moscow 5 at the time, who I believe are Evil Genius Gaming now? Maybe? I don't know.
Moscow
Moscow 5
5
at the
or
time.
Gambit Gaming.
Gambit
sorry.
Gaming, that's what it is now. Who sort of popularized, Fellhammer in the chat correcting me there as well. Gambit Gaming became sort of known for
Yeah.
invading the jungle, and I think that may be one of the reasons Maokai fell off and
as a lot of
lost
the
popularity.
commentators kind of said, their jungle, your jungle became their jungle, and they would not let you have anything inside of that jungle. And if Maokai is forced to leave it for any really big portion of time, and he falls behind, then it's really easy to keep behind, as you said.
Yeah, Maokai, I mean, his clear is decent, but if he doesn't have blue buff, it's just so incredibly draining, and the only real response he has to that is to try and rush an early chalice.
And another great skin, another festive Maokai skin coming out here. Probably my favourite Maokai skin, so at least he's got that behind his belt. If he does get invaded on, he'll still look pretty right now.
Yeah, on the skin front, we do have Tango Evelyn, who, as she has part of my name in it, I think is good. Dragon Fist Lee Sin, Riot Graves, Defender Leona. Not a big fan of the Defender Leona skin.
No, it's a bit of a cop out, kind of a recolor in my opinion.
Well, it was one of the original recolor skins that she came out with. And we are in game.
So we have a Doran's ring start on the looks, which is going to look to harass that Eve early, as she's obviously a bit of a melee champion. She's got a bit of a range on the Q, however. She will get harassed fairly easily, and she's anticipated that with a crystalline flask and a few health pots right there. Purple team looking to try and get over and get some vision onto this red side's ramp to deny the invade onto the Maokai blue. Blue side, however, have got a ward onto the red buff, so they might actually be following out this plan, this strategy that I said. However, they may just want to see where Maokai is. We'll have to wait and see right now.
Anyone in the stream, can you just let me know if the sound is on? I seem to be having issues with my computer and the sound not playing.
So purple team have actually advanced into this bush by red. However, they were spotted by a ward on the way in. So Lee Sin is looking possibly just to start blue, giving that red buff to Maokai and then simply taking the red buff from him. The blue team actually were aware that there's a ward from the red team into this area, near the red buff area. So we're very careful to dodge the ward and to let them know where they're starting. So they're gonna both trade red buffs from each other, and that actually takes away some of the risk of the Maokai getting counter invaded right now.
Sorry about this in the stream. I think I need to just relog the client, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. It's back. Just reloading. Had an issue where the sound was dead in-game.
Oh my god, and Ace coming down from both teams.
Oh, Jesus!
Right now. Oh, sorry you missed that, guys. Really exciting stuff right there. They basically all unlocked their ulti at level 1, and it was amazing. As you can't see, Maokai and Lee Sin are just taking their buffs. No ganks coming in yet, though. Lee Sin actually being brought very low by the blue buff, so it doesn't look like we're going to see any early game activity quite yet. So, which is good considering you're watching the champions load up again. But I'm sure that's great for you guys as well. Okay, so Lux is actually not doing too good a job of harassing the Evelyn. Evelyn's actually ahead in CS, which you don't want to see versus the Lux. Maokai's doing just a good job of clearing his jungle. Lee Sin's just going to clear the minions off his red buff. And each lane's just farming fairly averagely right now. Nothing too aggressive going down from either team. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry
sorry.
about this.
It's quite alright. It's not. It's the computer's fault. You always blame the computer.
The league client is notoriously buggy. We are at 100% on all
Yes.
champions and should be loading back in soon. Sounds like it's been a fairly passive early game, just sort of farming. And we
Yeah.
have
Okay, you can understand what I'm talking about.
all
now.
of the sounds going off at the same time. Jesus Christ.
And now we have to put both colorblind mode on and deaf mode on, as all our fans are now deaf from the ridiculous amount of sounds going on in the stream. Still no action, so you're all very lucky. I think both teams probably just played passive, knowing that the stream was bugging a little bit right now. So thank you both teams. That's brilliant. Okay, so Maokai coming in now into this bush though. Lee Sin is there and is going to spot him, dealing a lot of damage. However, the Maokai actually advances onto the Evelyn. The tick just bringing them down on the ignite. Lee Sin going to go for the second Q. Is there enough damage there? No, he just misses it right there. So they actually pick up the double buff off the Maokai onto the Evelyn, which is going to give her a real good advantage, especially as this Lux hasn't been harassing quite as much as she should have been during this early stage in the game.
The invade coming down, Lee Sin taking the wolves, red team collapsing onto him. However, they are going to kill him. He looked like he was going to get away there for a second, but he is definitely dead.
And this is as a jungler, you should know when your mid lane is taken aback and how far your bot lane are pushed up in order to do that safely, and that just wasn't safe at all. Death times at the minute are obviously very short due to how early we are in the game, and right now there shouldn't have been even a thought in his head to invade that. Maokai actually advancing onto the Evelyn, trying to strip him of this double buff, and the ignite's just ticking, picked up by Lux with the ignite, and trades the double buff back to the red team. So really well played by that Maokai, rectifying this mistake straight away. Engage actually went down onto the top lane as the Zac hit his level 6, picking up the kill on the Renekton, who didn't quite actually he did have his ultimate up, but he didn't choose to use it for some reason, so peculiar. Maokai's just going to come in, pick up some CS here. However, he's got to be careful because Zac will do quite a bit of damage right now. He has 27 AP, and that will be the reason why he managed to take out that Renekton. Lee Sin coming in with a great kick, wards jump, ultimate combo, and Evelyn's going to clear up this kill, trading back the double buff again. So that double buff has been is being kept up.
That double buff is being kicked around like a soccer ball at this point.
Exactly. Back and forth, and you know that's going to be really important. However, it is putting a target on the mid lane's head every time it's on the opposite player, and we're just going to see ganks after ganks after ganks unless they start picking up wards.
Janna getting caught a little bit out of position there, away from Varus. However, she does manage to take the long way around to get back.
Yeah, and as we saw in the previous game, Graves and Leona are actually taking a good early lead in the CS, and it's because they play that lane so well. They both know what each other are thinking right now, and the Leona and the Graves are communicating really well. Gianna trying to get on top of the Lux, however, misses her solar flare. Lee Sin comes in with a kick to try and deal some good damage onto the Gianna. However, they're forced to run as the Maokai comes in. Lee Sin, Graves running from the damage of the Varus. Varus flashes, tries to get the final hit onto the Graves, but doesn't quite land it. Leona's forced to flash. Lee Sin's low. All three blue team are low, and we might see a piercing arrow pick out one of them, but it misses unfortunately. So a lot of action down there, but to no avail. No one's actually come out with a kill yet. They could be looking to take this dragon, but quite risky considering that Eve is there with double buff and a lot of HP.
Indeed, they are going for the dragon, and no one is down, although there are a lot of people who had to back there, so there's a question as to whether or not this is going to be safe. You've got the engage coming in off of Lee Sin, closing, but just getting killed. That is the second sort of death Lee Sin has gotten just because he was being a little too brave.
Yeah, and Eve actually needs to start to do something here. Otherwise they're going to take this dragon.
Red team has
She's
slain
just
the
getting a
dragon.
bit too late. The dragon's actually already down. She's going to try her best to pick up a kill or two. Picks up the Murkai, picks up the Baron. She still has that double buff, so she's got a really good chase. She gets onto Leona, Lux, and the Leona lands a good solo flare right there to pick up a triple kill on top of the Eve. So pretty worthwhile for the blue team. They lost dragon right there, but they traded 4 for 1 in kills, including the Lee Sin who went in earlier in that fight right there. So I'd say a good, really well played by the blue team. Eve could have actually saved that dragon, however, a little too late with the engage.
Yeah, she did come in a bit late there, and I'm not sure whether that was just a miscommunication or her being a bit timid.
Yeah, but Leona was sitting back there on half HP with actually fairly little mana, so I think it was really a 1v3 venture.
And up top you've got Evelyn
there.
coming down onto the Renekton. Renekton just slash and dash, slice and dicing away. Is it?
Yeah, and Eve's just going to be able to roam around now. She's actually, if Lux tries to follow her anywhere, Eve's going to be able to just blow her up straight away. As soon as she takes a B, I believe she's still sitting on quite a bit of gold there and spent 1,600 gold there and spent, so she's going to be able to get back, and I'm guessing she's building towards a Deathfire Grasp right now, though I could be mistaken.
That is typically what you want to start on Evelyn, from what I understand, and she definitely is getting the kills to rush something. Evelyn is currently 5-1 and is ahead of Lux in farm by 1 CS, which isn't much, but 5 kills is.
Yeah, and she does pick up that needlessly large rod to build into that Deathfire Grasp, and then going to come back to lane looking really scary now with that sudden boost of 80 AP. If you can actually get back and build these huge items, then if you play it sensibly on the Eve, you can actually pick up a surprise kill pretty quickly, just by the fact that they're not going to expect the damage or you being invisible. So Eve's down here on the bot lane. Leona goes in, and Murkai is doing the best to eliminate a lot of the damage coming from the Eve. But the Graves and the Evelyn are chasing down well. Lee Sin's coming in from behind, going to try and land his Q, but misses. Janet's actually sticking around by this turret. This could actually cost her a life. However, the minions are moving in fairly slowly onto the turret, and instead Easton's going to back off and just let his team pick up the red side turret.
Indeed, and that was definitely some good play coming down there, particularly from the Evelyn, who is very much trying to take advantage of the fact that she has those 5 kills and just roaming as hard as she can.
Yeah, I mean, that is the key on Evelyn. She's got to be careful that Lux doesn't farm out a couple of items while she's roaming. But if they're taking the tower from that engage, then they're definitely coming out ahead, and she doesn't need to worry too much about not picking up kills there.
And indeed, and while all that was going down, up top, both Let's Bounce and Desert Fury, this is
Yeah, I believe it's Desert Fury.
Dominus, sorry, is his ultimate. Coming down from both top laners and them just trading, sort of slapping at each other in the way that Bruiser tops do.
Yeah, and Zach's actually built a lot, got a lot of AP. He started with 30 AP, which means basically in wards, in runes and masteries, he would have just stacked AP. And that actually means he can play pretty aggressively without this passive farm fest that you often see when Zach is playing.
We see some pings coming down from the blue team around the red team's blue buff. Looks like they're going to have an engage here. Lots of damage coming down. The Lux laser taking the blue team. I'm confused.
And the Murkais are trying to advance onto the Leona, landing his Entangle Root, and the Varus is going to pick up a double kill right there. The Lux dealt a lot of damage as blue team were caught in a massive line there, which is exactly what you want from the Lux. And they can now look to try and maybe pressure this mid lane with the Varus and Lux being in position for it. Graves, however, is on full HP. He's got a good wave clear and still has his ultimate up. So red team just going to back off, spend that money they've just made from that engage. In fact, Lux and are just going to take that blue off the map quickly and just clear this bot farm before doing so. This has put mid lane in a bit of jeopardy, however, for the red team, as Graves is pushing down quite heavily, and they're all on about half HP, so you've got to be careful versus this Graves burst.
In top lane, still, them just seem to be mostly a passive farm fest, whereas Graves, having taken down the red team's bot tower, seems to set up shop in mid. Resonate coming down off of Lee Sin onto Lux, kicking her away and then just backing off. Looks like they're just going to try and take this tower off of that.
Red team's turret has
and they're
been
just
destroyed.
trying to take some advantage through objectives, which is the right thing to do. Dragon is up, however, and they've got a Lee Sin on half HP, so to let this one go may be a bit risky. Murkais is going to try and get an engage right now, but Lee Sin is going to try and get onto the squishier targets, who are both fairly low for the red team. Murkai engaging onto the Graves, there's no damage following up. Evelyn manages to pick up the Lux at the back of the fight. Murkai gets kicked by the Lee Sin, however he doesn't follow up on it, and then instead they're just going to take this dragon. So the whole blue team looking fairly low. Varus actually flashes to try and pick up the Graves kill and does so successfully, but leaves him in a bit of a dodgy situation for the Evelyn. Evelyn picking up the kill on Varus and now advancing to try and kill the Murkai and Janna. She deals enough damage just about to pick up the Murkai, and that leaves Janna in a really vulnerable situation now, and she picks up the double kill onto both of them. So a good fight from blue team all in all right there. Lux getting picked up early, otherwise that would have been a full ace, as Zach managed to pick up a kill on the Renekton in that top lane.
And Zach taking the tower top lane, pushing that advantage. Oh, really strong flash coming out of Evelyn there, avoiding the Lux laser.
Yeah, that's really well played from her, and she's been really on the ball. However, she is holding 9 of blue team's kills right now, and that while it's brilliant to have on the snowball champion, she is easily brought down, though she does get a lot of tankiness from her ultimate, obviously.
She does have 9 of those kills, however, Graves doesn't have many of those assists, which is a problem.
And Purple Team doing a really good job of just keeping control onto this dragon right now. Varus does need to push this lane quickly in order to be able to get across. Lee Sin, obviously a lot of utility in order to get into that Baron Pit and steal the dragon. Murkai's taking a lot of damage as Varus isn't here to deal damage onto it, and they're very scared of a second engage going wrong right now. So Murkai's just going to try and clear these wards at the back that have been spammed out. Leona tries to engage and actually throws out a solar flare, but the blue team decide to back off. It wasn't a good enough engage, they needed to catch him sooner. as that was going on, I believe the Varus must have been dueling the Graves at this bottom lane, and that was the reason they didn't actually engage there, because the Graves was left and very little health. Red team again trying to start Dragon right now, and blue team aren't really in a position quite now. Missing the Graves at bot lane, Lee Sin just picking up the red and they decided to let the Dragon go without their AD carry nearby.
Indeed, that was a good call for them picking up the dragon there, and having to force Graves back is definitely what let them do that.
And the Renekton and Zac at top lane dueling again. Zac actually seeming to come out on top now, and he's doing a really good job of standing on the blobs in order to stop Zac sustaining quite so heavily.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, watching that Zac, the recent nerfs to Zac's passive, which mean the blobs spawn farther away from him and sort of incontestable zones, it's definitely making a difference and making it harder for him to pick those up. Although he is still managing to get at least half of them.
Yeah, but I mean, every one that Renekton actually manages to get on top is a bit of a win for him, really, because it means that Zac's losing health while using these abilities. So if he's doing a really good job now of trading after losing out on a couple of engages to him, and he's picked up the Spectre's Cowl, which is a really good item versus any AP based team, because it gives you a lot of magic resistance as well as that HP.
Indeed, I'm not sure it's the best choice against Zac, although I'm not sure there is that many other choices. The Spectre's Cowl is definitely one of the stronger two items now. Evelyn coming in, she and Zac picking up the Renekton.
Yeah, and the Renekton just stayed too long there. Evelyn was hovering around that jungle area. She saw that he came back to lane and straight away was on it. So she's doing a really good job of roaming and helping these lanes out now to snowball everywhere else. Gold-wise, it's actually quite surprising that there's only about a K, 1.3k in the deficit in favour of the blue team, obviously taking three turrets right now and equaling dragons, so that's where the deficit lies, as well as those 6 kills. Leona just getting caught, but lands early flash to just escape safely. Blue team looking to push up this mid lane right now, but red team has a really good wave clear with the Varus and the Lux, so they're going to struggle to siege unless they make a good catch, this blue team.
Well, the red team definitely has a poke comp going on, and so sieging against the poke comp just doesn't work very well. They're going to have to rely on catching people out of position, like Zac just caught that Janna away. We have engages coming in. Makai coming down, Evelyn, and my FPS seems to be gone. Shit, you take over.
Okay, so Zac's being brought very low by this Varus, is being allowed to sit at the back, firing up his arrows. He lands a piercing arrow onto the Graves to pick him up. Zac is running away on very low health, and the Maokai just activates his cell division. Lee Sin's going to try and come in. He lands a kick onto the Maokai, who's on very low health, but Varus cleans up onto the Zac, and Lee Sin and Evelyn are forced to run away. So purple team doing a really good job there. The Lux actually expended a lot of her cooldowns there onto some of the more tanky members of the blue team. Sorry, I'm saying purple again. To the colourblind finds the red team.
I'm sure they'll figure out what's going on.
Yeah, so at that stage, when the Lux actually threw out a lot of her cooldowns onto these tanky members, I straight away kind of thought a mistake, but Varus did a really good job at the back there. He just sat there, constantly auto-attacking, and pretty soon the blue team was forced to run away, meaning that Maokai does what he does best, as well as having that Janna passive behind him.
Indeed, and that, I mean, they were a bit more successful with the poke comp there, and that they were able to stay alive while dealing damage from a distance.
Yeah, and that Lux, you know, she's actually opted to build magic resistance, which I think is somewhat of a mistake. She should be looking to team fight here, and rather than worry about that Evelyn getting on top of her, staying at a decent distance with that Varus and actually blowing her up together. So perhaps she should be focused on building a bit more damage rather than worrying about getting blown up herself by the Evelyn.
Definitely. I mean, Lux needs to rely on positioning and her teammates to help keep her alive rather than itemization into the defensive stats. I mean, because if she gets caught, she's dead no matter how much magic resist she builds.
Yeah, you know, the damage from Evelyn is constant, and quite honestly, right now, I don't think the Evelyn will even bother focusing Lux first. She's going to be more worried about that Varus, who's sitting on 8 kills right now with the Blade of the Ruin King and Infinity Edge. And as far as his survivability is concerned, as far as the Varus is, he's only got that one Doran's Blade, so it's going to be looking sitting on quite low HP with very, very few resistances at all.
Indeed, and really what it comes down to in the team fights, just looking at where the kills are on these teams, it's who kills who first, Evelyn or Varus, because whoever dies leaves their team at quite a heavy deficit of damage.
Yeah, and in terms of the Evelyn as well, in order to be able to play engage going down here from Evelyn, huge damage coming from her onto the Varus, but Varus reacts quickly with a brilliant ulti followed by Blade of the Ruin King and then a flash to get away, so no kills either way there. However, Evelyn forces Varus to blow a lot of his cooldowns. Red team right now trying to engage onto the Graves, however Renekton doesn't quite manage to get his stun off. They're going to try and take control of this dragon, however blue team are starting it, and with Varus being forced back earlier from the Evelyn engage, they're going to pick up this dragon for free.
Blue team slay the dragon.
It was nice of Evelyn and Varus to go at it just as we were talking about them. And it does seem that they are fairly evenly matched, at least in that regard.
Yeah, and you know, Evelyn had the advantage in that engage as well. So while Varus was forced to back off right there, if Varus hadn't quite face checked that bush and had a bit of range to start off with, that fight could have gone a totally different way.
Indeed.
So blue team just taking the B, spending some gold right now. Ping's going down near Baron for the purple team. They're obviously...
Leona picking up an Oracle's Elixir as well. Janna's already got her Oracles, so they are definitely concerned about clearing wards and trying to control the objectives at this point. Yeah,
and the objectives are really where this game lies right now, as there's only a K in it, so any objective picked up is going to either take them further ahead or push them further behind. So you know, they don't need to, if they worry about the team fight too much, they're both fairly evenly matched. It's going to probably come down to mechanical skill right here from both teams and communication. If they can manage to take an advantage through an objective, it's going to really benefit them.
Well, very, very much so on communication, because the blue team really wants to hard engage. They need to get Evelyn in there dealing damage, they need to get Lee Sin in there dealing damage, whereas the Imperial on the red side really wants to sort of sit back and poke a little bit more before engaging. And their ability to pull that off is almost reliant entirely upon the communication and teamwork as to when does the hard engage happen and when do you run.
Yeah.
Blue team's turret
And
has
5
been
members
destroyed.
of blue team are pushing on this top, but great wave clear on the blue team, and they're just keeping them from backing right now while Varus split pushes bottom. So these objectives that we were talking about, red team have started to really worry about, and if he gets his second turret right here, straight away that's about 1.5k, if not a bit more, for the red team deficit. Engage are trying to have a couple of these, but he's just forced to kick the Renekton away as the Maokai advances. Evelyn has taken the B here, so all the damage from that blue team stacked with those 9 kills has actually had to go to base to try and deal with her counterpart, as we said, the Varus, who's also quite fit. It's going to do the same again. He's going to face check the buff. Evelyn, just too much damage for him to deal with, and he's got to really be careful. You know, he needs that range. If he can land at ulti at a fairly decent range, he can actually win the engage. But he keeps on running into these bushes, and Eve's done a brilliant job of just picking them off. Lee Sin started the Baron buff, so they're fairly confident with the oracles, but Renekton's chasing onto the graves, so this could potentially mean that a lot of the damage of the blue team is lost onto the Baron, and they're forced to run back up from the Baron.
And I mean, it made sense as a choice to make that once they'd taken Varus out of the equation, they really wanted to try and force an objective, but they just didn't have the damage to do it, and Maokai was still up. So that was a really risky Baron to try and take, and in the end they recognized that and decided that it wasn't worth the risk.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously if Lee Sin with his Q, the extra damage from his kick, is a really good smiter. However, you've got a Lux on the opposite team, and she's actually built some damage now, so she's going to be able to burst things heavily. And coupled with a Murkai flashing or engaging onto the Baron pit, it is a bit of a gamble to continue with it right there.
Indeed. More wards clearing coming down. Blue team backing off from the engage. It looks like both teams are about to form up mid and try to push it.
Yeah, and purple team are taking the ward control here. Blue team actually have no vision on that Baron buff right there, and Shirelles is popped in order to try and make an engage onto the blue team, but they just back off to this mid turret that's still up. It would be sensible of the red team, I do apologise again to our colourblind audience, to sit around that Baron buff area, knowing full well that blue team has no vision there. They're not quite giving themselves enough time to put the doubt into blue team's mind to go and face check the Baron buff.
Indeed, and they're not. They have a composition that is really strong
Blue
for
team's turret
sieging
has
a
been
turret,
destroyed.
but they're not really grouping up and actually trying to siege anything down. They're backing away from fights a bit timidly, when I think they could probably afford, for instance, to try and push down mid and see if they can't siege that a little bit.
And issue right here is that Lux has split a lot of her items. She's actually, she's got one space, but she's not taken it back to spend the 1.4k gold she has right now. Varus has also got 1.6k in his pocket at the minute, as well as Renekton having the grant, so it would have been the idea for them to buy before this engage, but Leona lands a great solar flare. Jenna counters it with a Monsoon, however Varus is kicked backwards into the team by the Lee Sin. Varus backing off now, dealing some good damage. Zac comes in with Let's Bounce and Elastic Slingshot to deal a load of damage onto the Varus and pick them up. The next one's just trying to run away. However, the red team have come out ahead on this fight. Renekton getting away on about 100 HP and leaving Zac to potentially go down here, but he Elastic Slingshots away. Murkai tries to get on top of him, but it's totally Hume. And it's going to mean that red team this second mid turret right now, and come out with a 2v1 advantage in the fight.
Indeed, and it looks like fighting in Maokai's ultimate was one of the key factors in them turning that around there. And both Varus and Renekton went down there, but they managed to hold it together long enough to take it. Now they are taking up Dragon for their trouble, although the blue team is coming in. It looks like they may want to go for the steal. And they engage with the resonating strike off of Lee Sin. Maokai twisted advance onto Evelyn. Laser coming down onto Evelyn, killing her. Lee Sin being forced to back away from this. Zac coming in to back him up.
Red team has slain the dragon.
They recognize they do not have that dragon. Back away. Red team picks it up. And looks like to be exploring into blue team's jungle a bit here.
Yeah, and Lee Sin's actually, he's got that early damage from the double Dorans, but he's kind of built fairly oddly in terms of he's rushed the Randuins to counter the Varus. However, he's not staying on top of the Varus. He should, rather than coming back into these fights, such as that team fight before, he kicks the Varus back into the team, and rather than just staying on the Varus and soaking up a lot of that damage, he's instead trying to assassinate and peel the Varus back for his team, which I don't think the correct thing to do with this build that he's gone for.
No, I think you're right there. And while dealing with Varus is, of course, probably his first priority, given that Varus is really quite fed, he needs to pick a target and stay there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you play Lee Sin in two different ways. You either play, usually when you're ahead, a peeler that can obviously kick their important player back into the fight. However, you can also play quite a tanky, and it's actually built him fairly tanky. He can soak up a lot of that damage, and then once he's satisfied that he's kept Varus out of the fight for long enough, and the Evelyn has been able to take out a lot of the squishier targets that aren't fed, he can shield away and then leave Varus to deal with the rest of the blue team, who should actually come out ahead in these fights if the Evelyn's allowed to deal a lot of damage to the rest of them.
Indeed, and it is, as I've said before, I mean, we have two teams, each with one member who is really quite fed, and so it's whoever manages to get more damage off before the other team figures out how to assassinate them. And in that regard, the fact that Varus is the AD carry and has the range is an advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
However, Evelyn, of course, is visible, and if she can get around into flanking position, or if Varus face checks a bush, she can just blow him up.
And I mean, the Evelyn's fed, but the Zac actually did a really good job there. He waited for a lot of the CC to come down in order to get a proper elastic slingshot, and then came down on top of the Varus and managed to pick him off. So if the Lee Sin and the Varus and the Zac can get a decent jump onto the Varus, then he could be brought down quite easily right here.
Indeed, definitely, and it is going to come down to the ability of the red team to manage the disengage with the Janna, Howling Gale, and Monsoon.
Yeah, and last engage by that turret, she did a fantastic job of splitting up the members, getting onto that Varus. So we'll see if she can do the same again in this next engage. Whether red team play this fairly safely right here, they are going to, and just back off. They're a bit worried about losing engage followed by that Baron, as that could change the whole game around, as we saw in the last game.
Indeed, and it looks like both teams are going to be dancing around the Baron area, at least trying to hold vision of it. Everyone is up, everyone is here except for Renekton, and so the blue team could possibly want to engage in the Baron. It looks like they want to, but the red team is here and ready to respond to it, so that's probably not a good choice, and they are going to back off from it.
Yeah, and that's that poke comp once again being really good. Murkai actually engages onto this Evelyn, somehow finds it with a flash entangle route, and she's just going to get blown up right here, meaning that the red team can either push this onto the inhib turret. As you said before, they have a fantastic siege team, so this is more than possible right now, or choose to take the Baron, but they've gone pushed straight down mid lane. They're going to get onto this turret, and I don't think there's much blue team can do to defend this with the four of them and without the Evelyn.
No, they are a hard engage comp, and they just do not have the ability to withstand a siege. I mean, they've got their wave clear isn't complete crap, but it's all Graves. Everyone else really needs to be in melee range to do it. And Evelyn got caught out there trying to come around into a flanking position where she could assassinate Varus. But the team was there. It responded. It locked her down. She had a really good Zonia's play there, where she was able to negate a lot of the damage from the Lux laser. What's the name of that thing? Final Spark it is now. Negate a lot of that damage, but it just wasn't enough.
And Varus actually getting engaged from here. Leon doing a great job of locking her up. Of the Janna landing a brilliant 1-2. Is there enough? No, the Graves ultimate comes in to finish him off. Leona being taken out here. Evelyn is able to get on to the Lux and bring her down. Next actually dealing a lot of damage here with the Sunfire Cape and his natural damage. Janna coming in. She's got the shield. The answer lands a knockup, but Graves doing a great job of fighting back and forth. Zach is taken down. Passive is taken down, however they come out with their ace for just 2 kills, so straight onto the other foot right here.
If you watched that fight, the red team was not able to maintain focus on Evelyn. She was dancing around the bottom of that fight, in and out of it. She'd use her abilities, back off, wait for an opening, come back in, get out, and she was just dancing. That Tango Evelyn was just dancing in and out, and was successfully managed to manage the aggro from the red team and not take the damage.
Yeah, exactly. And they pick up a turret from that. They could have potentially picked up more, in my opinion. Zach has actually a lot of sustain. Probably could have tanked out that Baron right there with the Graves and the Evelyn dealing damage to pick it up. So I don't know whether it was the right decision without the minion wave, especially versus the super minions, to just try and take that mid turret. I think they wanted to potentially deal some good damage onto the inhib turret, but they didn't manage to do so. No, actually, oracles coming out from the purple team, but a pink ward being dropped on Baron, and they're going to start this straight away. They've just seen one of them back, I think, on a ward, but blue team doing a really good job of collapsing. Lee Sin coming over, and it looks like they're going to get here in time. No Zach quite yet, but they can definitely engage with them grouped up and the Evelyn ulti. They're going to keep on dealing damage. Murkai's actually backed off from the Baron, and a lot of damage going down onto the red team simply from the Baron, but Evelyn is taken down by the Renekton. Looks she's sitting in the Baron pit again. A lot of damage dealt to her. Grave is being attacked now by the Murkai and the Renekton. Can the Renekton finish the Graves off? This is the real important question here. A great flash from the Renekton, but just not enough damage there, and they could potentially turn and take this Baron. No, they've decided to back off.
They really do not have the damage or the health to be taking that Baron at this time. I mean, Zach is still up and he could potentially tank it, but Graves he just does not have the damage yet to be doing that. He doesn't have a Bork yet. He just has the Last Whisper and the Bloodthirster. And you really want something like a Bork, which deals basically 100 on-hit damage to Baron, to try and even attempt to solo that.
Yeah, and I mean, that wasn't such a bad call from the red team to start that Baron. However, the switch then from the Baron to the fight was very slow. The Murkai got off ahead, but his ultimate didn't actually negate that much damage because the rest of his team was trapped in the Baron pit, and the blue team wasn't forced to use cooldowns in that position. So just a bit of a misplay probably from the Murkai. He probably should have stuck to his guns, brought down that Baron who was actually probably on about less than a quarter HP right there. Just tried to rush it from the team, only to fight afterwards, but it didn't come out too bad. Indeed,
and as a poke comp, you don't really want to be the one to start Baron, because it allows the other team a window to engage on you. And getting out of that Baron pit when there are 5 people standing in front of you, not an easy thing to do. So that's not really, as a poke comp, that's not a fight that's always a good idea to pick. if the enemy team is up. I mean, that's extremely risky because it gives them the chance to hard engage on you.
Yeah, and I think they just over-anticipated the speed at which they could take that Baron at this stage in the game. Force coming down, unsure what's going on right now. I can't really see any issue here, but
looks like one of the blue team has DC'd.
Okay, so we'll be waiting on this right now. Both teams actually looking fairly in it. Actually, only 100 gold deficit in favour of the blue team now, but they have a exposed inhibitor, and I believe Graves' Guardian Angel is down for the count at the minute. So as is Varus's. In fact, no, Graves is up. I do apologise. So you might see this next fight going in Blue's favour. It's all going to rely on how well the blue team get on that Varus, and on the other side, how well the purple team, red team, get onto the Evelyn.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And just based on team comps, I think the red team has a slight advantage here because the Evelyn is going to be fairly easy to get onto, just because she's melee.
Slain the dragon.
And we start the game again, and purple team red team just taking that dragon. Graves just going to clear up these minions, and he's getting pretty fed right now. The Shredder is coming down. They're trying to pick up someone here, but only Zach is left running, being able to get caught on. So a bit of a wasted Shredders, but a nice enough idea to try and get a pick off there.
They are doing a fairly good job of funneling gold into Graves, and at the moment, Graves actually has a higher gold total than Evelyn does, mostly due to the fact that he has 310 farms.
Yeah, and Graves' late game can be really scary, especially if he manages to pick up some IE or some auto attack damage item. The Bloodthirst is really there as an early game boost of AD for that caster based AD carry. But now he's going to be kicking out some real damage with the Last Whisper and the Phantom Dancer. Engage tries to go down from Zac, but a great whirlwind from the Janna stops him from doing so. And they managed to get this inhibitor to below half HP. They're going to use that poke comp to try and siege out this inhibitor. Lee Sin gets into the middle of the team, good slow. Zac lands a brilliant last slingshot, and Lux is caught out right now. Lots of bursts going on to the Varus, but not enough damage. And he's just going to lifesteal through this. Lee Sin being taken down, Lux being taken down by the Evelyn. Renekton's very low right now. Murkai tries to re-engage, but the Varus isn't behind them quite yet. They're going to be forced to run away right now. Varus is turning, slowing onto the Zac and the Graves. The Evelyn's just left, CSing at the back, and a bit of a dodgy fight there for the red team. The Renekton and the Murkai slightly too ham. They should have perhaps backed off a bit further and just let that Varus kite right there.
Indeed, and that Varus sort of wanted to kite and stay back and not hard engage, and you could tell that because he was trying to kite back and not hard engage. And he just did not want that fight, and you could tell that from his posturing and the fact that he was backing up and trying to get out of there rather than backing up his tanks and trying to engage on them. Evelyn jumping on this Maokai, doing lots of damage. He is very tanky and surviving. Twin Ghosts coming off of Janna for the disengage there, and Maokai will get away safely to recall in a slightly safer position, hopefully.
Yep, and Evelyn can do that whenever she wants. Her ultimate's a fairly low cooldown, 77 seconds at the minute, and the Deathfire Grasp obviously just a 60 seconds, so she can make these catches on whoever. She's not having to save her cooldowns for the Varus or the Lux particularly. She's just trying to get a pick somewhere to give that lead for the blue team to take the Baron buff right now. Red team actually slightly dodgy perhaps, taking vision control onto the Baron. There was no Varus quite with them yet, but they decided to call blue team's bluff and do it anyway. Blue team's slightly worried, I think, now about them potentially doing Dragon, so Baron, so going to come down and just check that nothing dodgy is going on.
These two teams are definitely quite evenly matched here, and it is sort of showing up in that they both respect the other's ability to engage and destroy them.
Yeah, and I think that's really healthy between them, though perhaps Red Team are not respecting that quite enough. They're trying to not play this how they should be. They need to kite backwards. They've got such a strong disengage, re-engage team in the form of that general ulti and Lux binding and then the Varus ulti to catch them again in a really bad position. Elastic slingshot coming out, getting on top of the Lux, let's bounce. Varus is sitting at the back, dealing lots of damage. Lux managed to land a really good ultimate onto the team. Varus is still sitting at the back, having a tough time taking down the Zac and taking a lot of his time right now. However, all of Red Team are still up. Murkai is very low. Zac falls as well as the Leona in that fight, so they're going to be able to hopefully take this, either this Baron or this inhib right here. Graves is still on full HP, and Evelyn and Lee Sin are rushing back to try and get some HP up and hopefully potentially save this Baron from the Red Team, but I don't think they're going to be able to.
No, that Baron is falling way too quickly for them to be able to. The Leandra's Torment on the... I'm sorry, Zac has the Leandra's Torment, and he's not on this team. The percent damage on the Varus, however, is helping them take it down quite quickly.
And they're trying to get on top of this. Graves actually a great play from the Jana. Shrelia's into that whirlwind and slow. And he's just going to fall right here. That gives them a real good advantage right here. Also bringing down that Guardian's Angels for any future fight while Varus is still up. So they're going to take this inhib basically for free right now. I'm guessing they're going to back off. They've got a lot of money in their pockets to spend each. Looks $3,000 right there. Varus 2.6k to spend, and Renekton 2.5. So straight away, that's almost a large item in each. That's a GA straight onto that Renekton. Murkai actually getting caught out here. Varus is trying to ward him off though. Zac's coming in with a last slingshot. This could potentially be a mistake by the red team. Everything getting straight onto that Varus and popping his GN. Renekton's no way near for this team fight. Lux is looking to land a decent ulti there. Renekton's coming in quite with a lot of damage, bringing down two champions, trying to pick up the Zac also. Evelyn's also been brought really low, still with that GA up, but the GA drops, and I think they're going to be able to take the kill here. Zhonya's just to buy a bit more time, and she actually manages to escape here somehow. They're very slow on picking up that Zhonya's, and that's a bit of a mistake by Red Team. They could have really capitalised and potentially finished on
I was shocked that they didn't secure the kill on that Evelyn.
Yeah.
I do not know what that Maokai was thinking. He was so out of position there. Just got caught. I don't think they expected the blue team to be up yet, maybe. Maokai again getting caught by himself in the enemy jungle. All four of the members of the enemy team up.
And he keeps just punching that Evelyn back. She's not quite got the damage now, nor the vision to chase that any further, especially with that GA just having been popped. So basically the carries on the blue side have lost their GA for now, and that could be really a problem in the next team fight. Graves isn't even halfway round yet, and neither is Evelyn, even a quarter of the way round. So the red team has a good 2.5 minute window right now to pick a team fight and potentially win this game with the next team fight.
Indeed, and they need to group up and pick either top or bottom and just push down. They can't really, they can try to push down mid, but they'll be pushing into 2 inhibitor turrets, and trying to wave clear off of that is difficult when the other team is going to just full engage on you. So they really need to pick their fight, pick a lane, push, and just use this siege quickly. And they seem to be having trouble deciding what to do and where to go and how to close out this game. and that's really a waste of time for them.
And it's important to note as well that Renekton and Varus have got full builds. Engage going down now, the Evelyn getting on top of this Varus, and he drops very early into this team fight. Lux is also caught inside the team fight. They're not able to get a lot of poke off. It's looking to go into blue team's favour, bringing down 3 of the members already. Renekton still sitting there, brings down the Zac. However, Lee Sin is left on very little health. Only Janna left to defend now, and it looks like they could close out this game. 50 seconds death time is right here. However,
indeed, and that was a huge misplay in terms of calls by the red team. They were looking for a team fight, which isn't their strength. The poke and the siege cop is what they need to be doing, and they seem to just not recognize it.
Yeah, and that was their real opportunity right there. 2 full build champions, no Guardian Angels on either of the carries on the team, and that's an ace coming out. They have 20 seconds to finish this, but not a very large minion wave, and the super minions are actually coming out of this red base right now, so they're going to be forced to back off. Going to probably try and make a play onto this Baron, and probably they've just definitely swung the advantage here into their favour with their GAs coming up very soon.
Indeed they have, however, the red team's minions seem to be doing quite a bit of work, and they are trying to. They are just going to have to recognize that they have to back and clear those waves.
Yeah, and that's the power of having those super minions. Obviously, your minions become slightly stronger, and they're just going to push down, and as much as you can take an advantage from pushing up altogether, minions do a hell of a lot of damage to turret when stacked, and you've seen many games being lost in competitive matches to people just ignoring the fact that the lanes are pushing that hard. So especially picking up Dragon right there, potentially a bit more gold. However, they do have some full buys, and they did that without the Janna, so that was a bit risky for the trade-off of the small amount of money, now relatively speaking, that Dragon gives.
Indeed, and particularly at this stage of the game where most of the champions are sort of coming up on full build, a little bit of extra gold is, it's important to deny that to your opponent, but it's not going to help you as much as choosing to push a lane or something would.
Yeah.
Once again, red team's sort of not sure of what to do here. They seem to be trying to pick a fight maybe and just pushing down. They're going for the inhibitor, of course, I guess.
And while last fight, while I've mentioned that blue team actually have their GAs up now, as does Varus, and last fight Varus dropped so quickly towards that Evelyn, who as he no longer had his GA up, this fight, it means he can actually come back alive and be protected by that Lux shield as well as the Janna shield. So we'll see. This could potentially go in either team's favour this fight, and they're going to both really base the fight around this next Baron, I'd have thought, which literally just pops right now.
Yeah, that is definitely the next objective for them to worry about. The red team has pretty strong control of the map right now, thanks to their minions, which are pushing down. However, they seem to want to push down mid lane, deal with the super minions there, and hopefully take this inhibitor is what their goal seems to be.
And now they're backing off to the Baron. They're aware that those minions give some really good vision, and they're looking to actually catch the blue team right here. Leona's coming round. She's dropped towards into this bush, so they're going to be thinking straight away at Baron, and this could be a good fight here for the red team. Varus lands onto the Zac. He's trying to get back to the Zac, as is the Zac onto the Varus. That Lux lands a really good ulti. Lisa kicks over to the Varus, but he brings him down. Varus keeps on attacking this Evelyn, who's now Zonya's the Graves' Zonya Guardian's Angel goes almost down. Evelyn's definitely just Varus is sitting there, comes out of Guardian Angel, and the Zac is killed and brought down, so only Graves left to defend now. Purple team are actually pinging to clear that bot lane, but I think they're better off pushing right now. They have 4 members up and only a Graves to defend it, so definitely should be looking towards maybe closing out this game right now.
Indeed, then I am a bit surprised they didn't go for Baron, just given that sort of the temperament of the team seems to be towards that sort of bent as to take objectives.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, and I mean, Varus has got a lot of life steal, so maybe they weren't too fussed about the sustain. They're going to start to damage these turrets. 15 seconds left of the death time, so because this Graves can hold out, they're going to try and pop the Zed right here. The Janet does fall, and Graves is continuing to damage right here. They're just going to take this Nexus and take the game, winning the best of 3 and placing the 3rd in the dual summer, final summer tournament right now. So good job to Imperial, really well played in these 2 games. I'm just going to check. Imperial have won the best of 3, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
that last game that went back and forth, and I'm easily confused.
Yes, that's exactly that's what's trumped me as well. But I'm sure that's the best of 3 for Imperial right now. So, good job, Imperial. Well played.
Indeed, well played there. Congratulations on 3rd place.
Yeah, but both really good games there. Both lots of back and forth, and probably a couple of the most interesting games in this Newell tournament that I've definitely seen.
Well, these 2 teams are definitely very evenly matched.
Yeah, and ACOG won the grand final has just come out, so
Indeed.
There you go.
I guess that's it for the evening, and I have to go pack. So do you want
one more bit of shameless plugging of our websites? So please keep up to date with all the Newell news on our website, www.thenewell.com, or alternatively visit our Facebook page on www.facebook.com/thenewelluk. I hope you've enjoyed our brilliant commentating, and we'll hope to see you again next time. Thank you and good night.
Good night.